This is the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom. In our top story tonight, the passenger who reportedly issued a bomb threat aboard an Air Canada flight from Toronto to Barbados yesterday has been referred to a medical facility for assessment. That's the latest development in the incident that passengers said started an hour and a half into the 5-hour flight. Police have not yet released the name or nationality of the 66-year-old man who disrupted the flight from Pearson International to Grantley Adams by pacing the plane and muttering threats about blowing up the vessel. He reportedly refused to listen to the orders of the flight crew, who, with the help of passengers, subdued and tied him up. They later handed him over to police once the plane landed. Well, members of the emergency services, led by police and fire officers, responded when the plane landed around 1:40 in the afternoon. Lawmen used sniffer dogs to search the aircraft and gave the all-clear later, saying they found nothing to cause alarm. As the probe continues, the acting assistant superintendent David Welch says investigators will use other agencies, whether regional or international, if necessary. Well, from all reports, the cancelled flight scheduled to leave the island yesterday at 2:45 p.m. left for Toronto this morning at 10. In response to the recent spate of shootings in his constituency and across the island, one member of parliament is calling for an unorthodox approach to the problem. He is MP for St. Michael West Central, James Paul, who announced that he will be rolling out a new program along with government advisor on social policy Hamilton Lashley to eradicate crime in that area. Mr. Paul says many of the issues arise from a lack of purpose among society's young men and notes the initiative will involve all facets of the community, including churches, community groups, businesses and special arms of the police force.
Some of those young people in the churches are part of the youth groups. They play football, they play darts, they play road tennis, they play something. Okay? Or they go and watch them. Or sometimes, you don't know, sometimes the spectators there, some of the very coaches or the people that play this nice road tennis that we go and watch, they are part of a church.
In addition, Mr. Paul called out a number of social, political and economic groups, including Barbados's business class, who he says have failed in their responsibility in decreasing Barbados's social gaps.
Instead of casting aspersions on the Alkins land and the Belfields or whatever, come up here and help us work. And just not leave it to a politician who's elected to do it, because he can only do part of it. Okay, but there's some who sit in the armchairs comfortable and watch out and spend money and all kind of nonsense on race cars or whatever. Okay? When the very community fabric is declining.
In the wake of recent shootings, senior members of the Royal Barbados Police Force will take to the Britons Hill community for a walkthrough to reassure residents of their safety. The shootings resulted in 2 men being killed and another being injured. They occurred in quick succession and are reportedly linked to young men associated with or in the Britons Hill area. Rico Reed was fatally shot by an unknown assailant along Wharf Road, the city, about a week ago. And a few days after, police who were responding to a report of gunshots in the Valerie area discovered the body of 25-year-old Kadeem Dario Joseph. Acting Assistant Superintendent of Police David Welch says the walkthrough will begin at 3 tomorrow afternoon.
This walkthrough will give us the opportunity to see the problems firsthand, to see the community firsthand. We will wish to continue to partner with the community and to strengthen our commitment and to reassure the members of the community of our police.
Head of the Hematology Department at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Teresa Laurent, says the unit needs chemotherapy pumps. She was speaking to the media after the unit received one 43-inch LG flat-screen television donated by the Myeloma, Lymphoma and Leukemia Foundation of Barbados.
When we have patients on the ward who are undergoing infusions that are in excess of sometimes 96 hours, having the pump on, the nurse also can get to see other patients, do other things. And the pump system has an alarm that if anything goes wrong, the nurse can hear it and come back and see what's happening. But without pumps, what happens is that the nurse is essentially stuck within the unit because she has to monitor the patients very closely.
Well, as the crop over season heats up, another Calypso tent is off the ground. It's the Experience tent, which is bringing a number of newcomers to the festival. During a press conference to launch their start, artist Billboard weighed in on local debates on the originality of Barbadian Calypso and soca. He says although many writers and producers of local music are Trinidadian, they are not the problem. Instead, he blames Barbadian singers for failing to put their stamp on the music.
They're concerned about putting out good music. So, likewise, the top R&B and pop sounds don't come from Jamaica. They're produced by Europeans, long white boys that we don't even know. So I'm saying it is the artists now, the actual artists, that has to put their stamp. But because Bajans haven't crossed over, we're jumping on anything to try to cross over. So if next week the petitions start to hit big, trust me, the week after, Beijing will sort the conference and kids.
Well, Billboard also bashed the National Cultural Foundation for excluding artists from the Experience tent from the annual cavalcades. The tent, which is in its 12th year of existence, places a heavy emphasis on producing wholesome music.
You get good calypso, good party tunes, good soca tunes every single year. It is attested because the jury send us to the finals, semi-finals elsewhere. But I find it interesting that no matter what, I can't get somebody from NCF or whoever to put somebody from Experience on a cavalcade. In 12 years?
Well, patrons are being told to expect a quality show at the Phenomenal Friday event scheduled for July 1st. On that night at Kensington Oval, the finals of the inaugural Barbados Yellow Pages Bashment Soca competition and the semi-finals of the Sweet Soca and Party Monarch will be held. Speaking after a site visit today, sponsors representative for 4D Entertainment, Michelle Strawn, does not foresee any challenges at the moment. She also shared some of the plans for the venue's layout.
The event will be held on the Eastern Concourse, which is to the Pickwick area side. It will have the stage will be set up behind the screen on the field, and patrons will be looking towards that stage.
Meantime, a representative from Mount Gay, Patrice Foster, says the company is pleased to be associated with the event.
We're very excited to be a part of this event. My opinion is very unique. People can look out for our VIP section, all inclusive. Look for the brands such as Absolute, Piper, Remy, Mount Gay Black Barrel, and I think everyone is going to have a fantastic time.
Government will honor its commitment to pay United Commercial Auto Works Limited, known as UCAL. This assurance from Finance Minister Chris Sinclair, although not giving a specific time frame for settling the debt and noting that there are some questions about the specific amounts outstanding. He said the money will be paid.
No, there's some issue over the 22 million, but that's things for the technical people to work out and so forth and so on. But in as much as it is monies that are owed to UCAL, I know the government of Barbados, central government, at least pays the staff salaries already, and that is by agreement from before. The Transport Board is responsible for that account, and I'm actually having a meeting with the Transport Board officials this evening at 2:30, and I will have a better idea of what is going on as far as that is concerned. But to the extent that that is the case, like all others, if government owes you, government has to pay.
Lawmen are probing 2 sudden deaths in the last 24 hours. CBC understands a security guard collapsed and died around 7 o'clock last night at Jackson in St. Michael. It's also understood that a middle-aged man collapsed and died at Bathsheba St. Joseph around 2 o'clock this afternoon while at a bar drinking beers with friends. The man, who was known as Sam, was described as a pleasant individual.
He was a real good person, quiet, relaxed person. I wouldn't say that he was a bad person at all. He was just a relaxed person. He just went out the same way I knew he was. Just really relaxed. No fuss, no fight, Nothing like that.
We'll have more news in just a moment. Stay with us.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153 to sign up to Digicel today.
Thank you all for being here. Rocco was an amazing husband, father, and microorganism. We met on E. coli Harmony 3 flu seasons ago. Our love went viral. His death was quite a shock. Sure, Lysol's been a deadly bacteria killer for decades, but this new Max cover can blanket an entire king-size bed in seconds. Ah, Rocco!
Distributed by Brighton Stokes.
Community Files. The Ministry of Tourism and International Transport's telephone numbers have changed. For the PBX, please dial 535-7500. The fax number 436-4828 remains unchanged. To view the full list of numbers, please visit the Barbados Government Information Services website, www.gisbarbados.gov.bb, and click on Media and then Downloads.
It's on, we're in! CBC is streaming Crop Over 2016 live. Enjoy the color, the excitement, and the spirit of the Barbados Crop Over Festival. Join CBC and celebrate your culture as we showcase our pride. Simply log on to www.cbc.bb to view your favorite event, Soko Royale, Piccadilly Crop Finals, Grand Kadooman, and so much more. You can watch the sweetest summer festival from anywhere. Simply log on to www.cbc.bb. With CBC, Crop Over is only a click away. CBC, your link to the festival.
Festival Friday puts you on the front line with a costume from Into the Blue with Contact's 2016 band. Every day we'll bring you a question right here on CBC TV 8 until Friday, June 17th. There'll be 10 questions in total. Answer all 10 questions and send the answers to us at contests@cbc.bb. That's CONTESTS@cbc.bb. Then on Festival Friday, June 17th, we'll draw for the lucky winner. The first correct entry drawn wins a frontline costume with Contact Band's Into the Blue.
The driver who struck an Alexandria schoolgirl and fled this morning has since turned himself in. Around 8:27 this morning, 13-year-old Zawadi Jilks of St. Stephen's Black Rock in St. Michael was hit as she crossed the Spitestown Bypass Road in St. Peter. She sustained lacerations to her face and right hand and was taken by ambulance to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Richard Cullimore says he saw Zawadi minutes before the accident occurred.
I was there sitting down. And I saw the girl came out, she speak, I told her morning, and then I hear bam. When I hear bam, I thought it for a truck or something, just hit something and going along. When I look, I saw the car going in this direction and she on the ground. So when I got to her, it was me and another girl. We were trying to help her. I realized that she was bleeding a lot and all you could do is to try to get people to bandage up the wound to help her. And I told the girl, but go and call the teacher because it wasn't right. It wasn't right. And the man didn't even stop.
Well, police have since confirmed the driver of the vehicle eventually presented himself to the District E police station. Barbados is modernizing its procurement process. That's the word from Acting Chief Supply Officer at the Central Purchasing Department, Janice Worrell. She says efforts are on to ensure the country's systems fall in line with international best practices. To achieve this, Ms. Worrell explains there must be greater transparency, accountability, and integrity of the modernization system.
The procurement is normally between 10 and 15% of our GDP. So we, as much as we can, we will try to ensure that the systems that we have in place will be transparent so that it will benefit the economy, it benefits the private sector, it benefits the suppliers, it benefits the public service as a whole, to ensure that the money, taxpayers' funds are well spent.
More than 24 young people are in the process of acquiring skills for which there is global demand. The 29 students of the Barbados Community College are enrolled in a website development program. The 2-month project began on May 30th and the training is being conducted at the Education Ministry. It's a collaborative effort involving the company Simplified Apps, the Ministry of Education and the BCC. Spearheading the initiative is Chief Executive Officer of Simplified Apps, Curtis Padmore.
We're actually guiding them to be more astute when it comes to web development, and they're able to then develop websites at a fairly sophisticated level so that the NGOs who we are really supporting, because this project is to build 50 websites for 50 NGOs, giving them world-class websites so that they can be better representative on the World Wide Web, showing the world what they're doing.
One of the students involved is Josh Henry. He says it's been an exciting and educational experience.
From making websites using WordPress and stuff, I've learned a lot more. I've also had to set up stuff like servers and what's not, so I've gained a lot of experience with regards to website building, to the point where I think I could possibly make a career out of it. So it's been a learning experience with, even thus far, as little time as we've been here, we've learned a lot in a short period of time.
Attitudes towards the elderly in Barbados must change. This from Social Care Minister Steve Blackett, who was speaking at a panel discussion on elder abuse for World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. He says while government understands legislation on elder abuse is needed, people need to examine how they think about the elderly in order to tackle everyday occurrences.
However, a legislative framework, while necessary, is not sufficient for the alleviation of elder abuse. Legislation and enforcement must be accompanied by behavioral change at every single level.
Minister Blackett says existing legislation is enough to ensure any elderly person who is abused has legal recourse. Well, still to come, some of the stories making headlines across the region. Stay with us.